Stress is a silent killer. What's going on, YouTube? This is Paul, the Inventory King, and we are talking about stress in an aquarium. As we know, when we suffer from stress, it could do some bad things to us. Our health can suffer, among other things. But the thing about us is we have the ability to make changes and do things about that stress. Where fish suffer from stress as well. There's always going to be a little bit of stress in an aquarium, but the fish can handle it. But the biggest thing here is that when there is a big stressful situation going on in your aquarium, the fish can't do anything about it. It's up to us, the fish keeper, to provide a low stress environment or to de-stress when the fish are showing major signs of stress. So we got to remember that our fish are resilient. They can handle some stress, but if they are under a great deal of stress, this is what could bring on sicknesses, diseases, even death. So we have to be mindful and look at our tank often and just make sure that our fish are not showing signs of stress, because this is going to allow them to have the best life possible. So, some causes of stress in fish can be sudden changes in water temperature. If you have a heater fail on you, or forget to plug a heater in, and that water temperature drops and drops and drops, if you live in a cold climate, that water can drop pretty low. And I've had it before where the water got in the 60s, the fish were all laying on the bottom. I lost quite a bit, but I worked on getting the temperature back up, and some of them slowly came back. So again, if we're going to have changes in water temperature that are big swings, this can cause stress in your fish, which is going to cause them to die. It's going to cause their body to shut down. Another one is going to be reduction in water quality. If we're not going to be staying on top of our water changes and the water quality becomes poor, this is absolutely going to contribute to stress in our fish, which is going to contribute to health issues, and they can get sick. Definitely got to make sure that our water quality is high so that the fish do not become stressed from poor water quality. So some of the other parts of the water quality are going to be like ammonia, nitrite. Ammonia nitrite, if you're showing any signs of these two on your test, you need to do something fast, because your fish will die. They will die because they are being poisoned by the ammonia and the nitrite, the stress. It's not a good situation. Nitrates, some nitrates fish can handle, but if you got high nitrates, same thing. This is going to cause poisoning and major issues with your fish, stress, among other things. Another is going to be changes in the chemistry of the water. So after a water change or throughout the week, if you're changing pH levels, or again, if your ammonia starts to go up, these types of things can cause stress in your fish. Another is going to be low oxygen levels. So if your aquarium is experiencing low oxygen levels, your fish are going to be at the surface gasping, or you're going to notice that they're rapidly trying to breathe. If you see this, there's a chance you got low oxygen levels, and you're going to want to start getting the surface of the water to break, because that is going to cause the gas exchange for oxygen to be introduced into the aquarium. So if there's low oxygen levels, the fish are going to get stressed because they don't have air, and that can lead to other things. Bullying is another one. We all know bullies exist in the African cichlid hobby, and if you have a fish that is being bullied, it's going to show heavy breathing. It's going to most likely be tucked up in the corner trying to hide from the bully. That fish who's being bullied is under major stress, And things like removing that fish into a quarantine tank, putting that fish into a timeout basket is going to be something you want to do to help the fish de-stress so it doesn't get sick. Again, remember, when our fish are under high stress, that is when they can really get sick. If you got a small aquarium and it is overpopulated, this can cause stress and issues as well. Lack of hiding spaces. Depending on your fish, Mbuna need hiding places. Peacocks and haps are more free swimmers. But if you have lack of hiding places for fish, when they're going to get bullied, they're not going to have a place to hide, which ultimately can result in death from being chased, stressed, and beat up. Let's see, adding a new fish to a tank is going to be another one, especially for the new fish. If you introduce one fish at a time, that's going to cause a great deal of stress for that fish. So you definitely want to be mindful of these things, and you need to look at your fish in order to notice these things. It's extremely important for us to be monitoring our fish, watching our fish, to notice if they're in a stressful state, and we would need to take action. Again, our fish cannot take action on their own. We are the ones that have to provide that for them. So be mindful of the symptoms of stress, because if you are, you're going to take action, and the action that you're going to take is going to increase the chances of that fish surviving whatever it is that they're going through. So I appreciate everybody stopping by to watch. Please leave a comment down below, like the video, please subscribe, and stay tanked.